It's that time of year, and another Knobcon is upon us. Last year was such a fantastic experience and my first Knobcon ever, so you can bet I had been planning for 2024's event. What is Knobcon, say you? Well, it's an enthusiastic gathering of synth nerds, musicians, equipment manufacturers, technical and creative types, and everyone in between, who basically take over an entire hotel outside of Chicago. It happens over a weekend in the beginning of September, and it's my new favorite ritual to remind myself that, hey, it's okay to geek out on some synths, and that I'm not the only one, not by a long shot. So come along as I give you a sneak peek into everything that is Knobcon. We made it. We are here at Knobcon 2024, and as per usual, I'm with my good friend and musical collaborator, Cowboy Ben Alman.
Yeah, and I'm with my good friend and musical collaborator, Jeremy, JRS1 Parker. What's up, Jeremy?
Not too much, man. So tonight, we have, to get us started, the welcome reception, which is out in the tent outside, and there'll be some live performances from electronic artists. I don't know exactly who's performing, but we'll get that info to you. And then tomorrow is when everything really gets going. So the exhibition hall opens up, so we get all the wares, all the vendors, and then simultaneously there'll be lectures, workshops, an open jam that's being held downstairs, that's being hosted by the Golden Shrimp Guild. Speaking of which, jamming, I actually brought a live DAW list setup to use, and hopefully I'll get to jam with people. It's a pretty neat little setup with the Yamaha Seek Track and our Arturia Mini Lab 3.
And custom 3D printed brackets.
Yes.
Which you're probably going to link a video. What did I bring? Let's see, I brought a bass, guitar, my little travel bass.
Pedals.
I brought a pedal board. I have a vocoder pedal on there, which is pretty funky, especially when you get some of the envelope filter bleeding through. It's kind of nasty sounding. And I wanted to bring a modular. Modulars are cool, but everyone has a modular here. And
Except for me, I don't have a modular.
Oh, well, I mean, speaking of which, maybe we can get you into that this year, finally.
Yeah, I didn't cave last year, but you know, this is a new year.
You just have money to burn, right?
Oh yeah,
so
sure.
Maybe you'll find that one module that just, you're like, I can't live without this thing, and now I have to build a 126 HP 14U system around this thing.
Perhaps.
We'll get you there, man. We'll get you there.
All right, so let's get to it, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Is this a thing now?
The welcome reception featured performances by Tumir, Plumpus, Kevin Dixon, Ryan Sullivan, and Suit and Tie Guy. I caught most of Suit and Tie Guy's set, and if you didn't know, he's the driving force behind Knobcon, or as he states, the curator of Knobcon. As you might imagine, he's a pretty busy guy, and I usually just try to say a quick hello and thank you. But Ben and I bumped into Suit at dinner one night and had a pretty lengthy conversation with him, which was really interesting. One topic that came up was basically how Knobcon is the perfect size and why there is no plan to make it bigger. In the business world, there's always such a focus on growth, so it's refreshing to know that Knobcon will keep its charm and cozy feel in the future. I mean, being surrounded by the warmth of synthesizers is cozy, am I right? It is Saturday morning, and the exhibition hall is bustling with activity. So many choices, where to begin? Okay, so I'm here with John Boyes from Point and Click Systems, and really interested in what you have here, so why don't you tell me a little bit about what you have going on, and yeah.
Okay, so I make Windows-based Eurorack modules in order to run plugins, since that's what Eurorack lacks, if you ask me. I also like to run Reaper a lot and other DAWs. With my modules, you can also stream using OBS.
Oh, that's really cool.
I made these for myself, you know, and I'm hoping other people are interested in them. I try to hit every price point I can. This is my current mid-level module. It's called PackBot 2. It's a quad core with 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's a different product behind the faceplate, but it essentially does the same thing. It's a little less powerful.
Yeah.
This is a current product. It's PackPot 0.5. It runs Windows on an Orange Pi, and essentially that's what's running a massive standalone right there. I can assign, of course, any controller that I want to control any of the parameters here. If you can hear what's going on, that's basically my tracker playing samples for drums, and then massive being automated by the Hapax, making the bass line.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. The hotel lobby always serves as an impromptu gathering place for jamming and just chilling out.
Yeah, so this is my oscillator called Warp Core. It's a stereo phase distortion oscillator. We've got 8 different algorithms that can be applied in 2 different ways each. So you've got 2 slots for the algorithms. You can choose one on one side. You've got an amount control. Choose another on the other side. The separate amount control. Those are obviously CV-able. It's stereo, so we've got 2 different outputs that are slightly out of phase and have different harmonics for a nice thick stereo voice. But I've got the expander here, which turns it into a dedicated voice. So instead of needing an external envelope and VCA, let alone a stereo VCA, with the expander just 4 HP more, we plug in a gate, and now we have its own envelope and stereo VCA built in. So it's a complete voice with just a little bit more space in the rack.
How do you generate that stereo information, or the difference between left and right? Where is that coming from in the synth?
Yeah, so with phase distortion, we're basically taking the phase of a sine wave, which would normally just be a straight line, just like looking up a sine wave 0 to 360 degrees, and we distort that phase before we do the lookup. So if we apply like a bit crush to it or some sort of wrapping, you get different sounds. If we look up as a sine wave or a cosine wave, now that's 90 degrees out of phase, but it also creates different harmonics in the image. So you have a nice, really wide stereo image that's both slightly out of phase and also harmonically related, but different. Yeah, this is my new module. It's called Disentangler. I'm announcing it here at Knobcon. Should go available in a month or so. And this is a stereo width controller at its most simple, left, right in, left, right out, and that allows you to narrow that stereo image from full width to sum together as mono. So just a mixing utility as well as a creative tool. It's also a mid-side encoder and decoder. So we take the left, right in, we get mid-side out, we can route through other things and do some creative processing with that or creative mixing with that as well. And that's an all analog module, 4 HP, designed to pair with Warp Core, but very useful in a lot of other contexts as well. Yes, online at infrasonicaudio.com, also on Instagram. And sign up for my mailing list if you want updates for stock drops and new products and things like that.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are with Ray from swampflux.com, and you've got a pretty neat product here, and why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
Right, well, this is a pressure controller that recycles the Wii balance board as a controller for Eurorack, so...
Well, so I should step on?
Yeah, step on, and then our little calibration dude will turn green when you stand still. So we can turn up the sensitivity to about halfway, and that's like 1x, roughly. So it's set up to do panning on these top corners right now. So leaning forward gives you audio, and left and right gives you panning. If I get you to do a little bit of a sort of a wiggle, you can record that, and then when I crossfade up, you can stop now. And it keeps going.
Oh wow, that's neat.
And you can bring the crossfade back down to about half. And now when you move around, you're moving around your previous recording. So they combine. You can give more emphasis to the thing that you did before.
Yeah.
There's also a random mode, so when you hit the board button, this little cryptid lefty sort of takes over, but It's a way to sort of give randomness to your pre-recorded thing and give it a little bit of chaos.
Oh, neat.
Or you can put it in one-shot mode. And if I put it back into board mode, you've got your envelope that you can move around subtly.
That is a very cool concept. I'm glad you invited me over.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There were DIY synth building classes from Modular for the Masses, AI Synthesis, and Zlob Modular. One of these times I'm going to try this. Okay, I'm with Ed from Circuit Happy. I was visiting his booth last year, and we're back again this year. Ed, can you tell me what's new this year? Any update?
Yeah, so ML2 came out about 3 years ago, and it was time to kind of tear it down and rebuild it anew. So down here is ML2M. While I was rebuilding it, I decided, because my customer asked for it, they wanted a MIDI clock out on the ML2, and not possible with the original one, but because I was rebuilding it anyway, I put TRS jacks in place of the usual mono jacks that you would get.
So it's similar to the MIDI out on the Missing Link.
Correct.
Jeans.
Yeah. So out of the box, the A and B ports are doing CV clock, but you can go in, hold the tap button down, and you go into a menu, and while it's blinking, this becomes a toggle. And you'll notice the B now is glowing orange.
Oh yeah.
Now it's in MIDI mode.
Okay.
So I can plug in a TRS, a MIDI adapter, or if your device like the model samples is TRS-A compatible, I can just run a stereo patch cable directly. I don't even have to use 5-pin MIDI.
You have a sequence that you can run right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can see, there's a Wi-Fi light at the top. So there's Wi-Fi connectivity, and they speak Ableton Link. So Ableton Link was developed originally for iOS music apps as a way for iOS apps to sync up without having to patch any cables. So if they're on the same local network, you turn on Link and then they would start talking. So here we have 3 Ableton Link devices, all my clock generators. So they're all talking. This one is the clock for the drum machine only, but it's talking over Link to these other 2, and so this ML2 is clocking this system right here, which is like a kind of a bass line, and then this one is clocking this sequencer to a chord module.
Got it.
So if we start with the chord, and you'll notice when I hit play, it doesn't start right away. It's quantized, so it's always going to start when this is at the top of its loop. So they start on the downbeat.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start this one early. So now
that's starting on B1.
And now if you want to bring the drums in, I'll hit play here.
Nice.
And now I can, if this tempo, I'm like, yeah, you know, it's a little slow. I want to speed it up. I can change the tempo here, and these are adjusting as well. So, or I can change the tempo here. I'm like, oh no, slow it down. It's too fast.
Well, yeah, thanks so much, Ed, for the update. And
Cool. It's good to see you.
yeah, good to be back.
All right.
All right, thanks. Once again, I have to give a shout out to the Golden Shrimp Guild, a group I first heard about from Ben when I started joining him on his live stream project, The Entire Robot. They are a fantastic online community and resource for electronic musicians interested in live streaming. They hosted the Saturday afternoon jam space, ran a booth on the main floor, and a bunch of GSG members were either jamming or officially performing at Knobcon. All right, now we're here with Mike from Hive Synthesis, and you've got some pretty neat stuff here. Why don't you walk me through some of your products?
Absolutely. I guess we can start down here on the bottom rack. This is our Protomato Eurorack prototyping platform. It gives you access to all of the rails on your rack, so you get plus and minus 12 volts, you get 5 volts, you get CV and gate rails, and everything you really need to create your own circuits. You've got pots, jacks, switches, and breadboards, so you can experiment within your rack. All the power stuff is pre-populated for you, SMT, so you don't have to worry about blowing up your power supplies or anything like that. Next to that, we have our Soda Pressed, which is our big module we're dropping this year. It's an enveloped noise hit based on a malfunctioning transistor. So you can get everything from almost like a snare to long washes of noise to a floating wave, all the way down to almost a kick drum.
Yeah.
And then a little further down along all of our passive routing modules, we have the duck module, which is a 2-channel mixer where one channel ducks the other channel. So if you need to pump stuff around your kick, it's all there for you in 4 HP.
Nice.
Cables galore, circuit bent gear galore. It's Hive Synthesis. Oh yeah, that is Honey. Those are a light to control voltage box. So anywhere where there is light and a spot to plug a CV input, you can use one of those to manipulate it, either positive or negative, just with ambient light, with a flashlight, rubbing your hands over it, whatever you want to do. Yeah, it's totally passive.
All right, yeah, thanks Mike so much.
Yeah.
And also I also know Mike as the Killer Bee Relay team as part of the Golden Shrimp Guild.
That's right, I am the Killer Bee Relay team everywhere music is stolen or streamed, including on Twitch. So come by and say hello.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem, thank you.
Saturday night was time for the Knobcon Big Room performances, which were banging, and the crowd was loving it. Sunday was the last day of Knobcon, ending late afternoon, so I attended a lecture and checked out a few more things, like the space drum from Allen Intelligent Instruments. This AI-powered drum machine was in prototype form, but is something to keep an eye on. So that was Knobcon 12. It was over before I knew it, and although I didn't get to jam as much as I wanted to, I did see more performances and lectures than last year, and I did get more of a taste of Chicago this year, like hot dogs from Portillo's, Chicago deep dish from Lou Malnati's, no, not the Illuminati, and Malort, well, from the Malort factory. Once again, getting together with the wonderful human beings from the Golden Shrimp Guild in real life is always a blast. I'm hoping to tune into and play on more Twitch streams, and I'm inspired to both get deeper with my current synths and explore what my first modular rack might look like. Being at Knobcon with so many like-minded people is just the inspiration I need to keep creating music and art. And although it may be bittersweet to say goodbye to Schaumburg for now, I hope you can see why I'm looking forward to next year already. Until next time.